So hi guys and ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to our YouTube channel. Today we are very happy to come back to you with some other updates on how you can invest in transport business. This mostly being the Uber, the Bolt, and the ride-hailing application business within the city of Nairobi and other cities within Kenya. So in today's update, we are coming to you live from Kirinyaga County, and Kirinyaga is one of the richest counties in terms of agriculture. I have done some other videos that I will upload in the coming days, and you will see that this Kirinyaga County is one of the wealthiest counties that we have in Kenya. In as much as it is one of the smallest counties, it plays one of the biggest role in terms of feeding the economy. So you can see here we have such a nice pawpaw plantation, even though it didn't perform very well in the last few months because of probably poor weather condition. But these people, they don't lack something to eat. And the owner of this farm, by the way, is a qualified agronomist, and he told me that he offers services in terms of drip irrigation installation, as well as things to do with supply of seedlings. If you want to plant pawpaws, if you want to plant passion fruits, and other types of fruits that people want to grow on their land. So if you need any of those services, you can drop me a text and I will share with you the number of the owner of this farm. Actually, this one is not for business. He does this just for family consumption and for visitors like ourselves. But if we move into the land near here, he is managing other 5 hectares from here. And he told me that he offers professional services that you guys can also benefit from as we discuss other business opportunities. So that was just a pass by, but we are coming to you direct from Makutano. So if you know Makutano, ya kwenda Embu na ingine ya kwenda Nyahururu, no, ya kwenda Nyeri. So we are like 3 kilometers straight from Makutano Junction. And the topic of today's discussion, I don't want to deviate so much. We are going to discuss about something that will be very, very critical for Uber drivers and Bolt drivers come next year, 2026. I know that I have done so many updates with regard to behavior, the behaviors of drivers, and the impact that poor behaviors from drivers, how it can impact their career in terms of being a successful taxi driver. When I interview a number of drivers out there, I have come to realize that drivers who have been on the roads for more than 5 years, not all of them have 2 apps. Either one is blocked by Bolt or the other one has been blacklisted by Uber. So you will find that a lot of drivers who have been on the road for more than 5 years, I think over 50% of them have lost access to one of the major apps, either Bolt or Uber. And this happens because of bad behaviors. If driver is reported to Uber or to Bolt by a rider, or he has been caught through Uber's or Bolt's investigation doing some malpractice, they can be blacklisted and blocked out of the platform forever and ever, and they will never be able again to operate on Uber or Bolt again. And just to add into those points, the point of today's discussion is not very new. This is an agreement that was signed between 2 competitors, that is Uber and Bolt, and this was signed a month ago, around November there. But I am very sorry that I did not bring you this update on time, but I think, it's never too late, because this memorandum of understanding between the companies I will mention here is still not yet implemented, but they are planning to implement it next year, and it will have a very, very huge impact on drivers who will not adhere to the guidance of good conduct as provided by Uber and Bolt moving forward. So Uber and Bolt, you know them, they are competitors. In as much as we address the whole taxi industry as Uber, but we know Uber is a company by itself and Bolt is a company by itself. Both are not Kenyan, but they have very significant market shares when it comes to the Kenyan presence. So Uber and Bolt, they came together around November last month and approached NTSA and said that they want to start a joint initiative so that they can promote good conduct by drivers in 2026 moving forward, in 2025 moving forward. And they said that from 2026, they are going to design a platform whereby Uber and Bolt will be reporting and posting details of drivers together with evidence. Drivers that have been reported to have done some serious malpractice, including sexual harassment, including overcharging customers and other physical physical abuse to clients. So if any of the driver will be reported by Uber, by Bolt, and to the NTSA in that joint platform, that driver, it doesn't matter whether they will be reported by Bolt, they will lose their access to Uber. If I am reported by a client on Uber platform that I have, done some sexual harassment to a client that I am carrying, if I'm reported by Uber, all my data plus the evidence, and I'm going to share more on the evidence bit, all my data as a driver, including my driving license, including my ID and everything, will be posted into the joint platform where NTSA has access, where Uber has access, where Bolt has access. And it's just like medical insurance or what is it, or CRB. So once your details is posted there, even if you borrowed money with Cooperative Bank, Equity will have access to your CRB data. Any other bank will have access to your CRB information, and you will not be able to access loans from any other banks until you clear your name with the current bank with which you borrowed. So moving forward, you will see that a lot of drivers will become jobless entirely. They will not have any opportunity to drive. Once you are reported of the three malpractices I have mentioned, physical abuse, sexual harassment, and overcharging clients, if you are reported by any of those apps, then you'll be blacklisted by all the other apps that are going to sign up for that platform. And NTSA will also use your information to potentially revoke your driving license. So it will not just go beyond, it will not just be within the taxi industry. If you are caught with those three malpractices, you are out of Uber and Bolt, at least for now, and then potentially NTSA could revoke your driving license, meaning that you will actually not be able to drive again until further notice. So it could sound as something very threatening, but for the side of customers and riders, it sounds like something that now is going to protect, their safety and also assure good customer service from drivers. But there are quite a number of issues that are going to arise. Moving forward, Uber and Bolt, they are also intending to reach out to other ride-hailing applications like Faras, like Litrocab, to come and join the platform. That means anybody now that will do malpractice on one app will lose access to all of them. Right now, I'm saying from next year, if you do any malpractice, you only lose Uber and Bolt, which basically is 80% of the market in Kenya, because the rest of the apps are just complementary. They don't do huge business. A lot of drivers either do Bolt or Uber significantly, and then Faras Litrocab is just less than 10%. So if you lose Uber and Bolt, then is like you cannot be profitable in the industry. So I mentioned something about the evidence. So Uber recently, they introduced voice recording on the app, either from the side of the driver, if you open your driver's app, or your customer's app. There is a button that you can press if there is an altercation between a driver and the client, and you want to take evidence without the driver knowing, or without the person you are arguing with, without them knowing. You can press on that button and start recording audio, and all that evidence will be stored in the cloud of Uber app for 7 days. If there is no complaint that is raised within 7 days, then that evidence is deleted. But if you are in an argument or a fight with a driver, you can record that evidence. You can take photos, you can take videos with your phone, and then you can provide that to Uber and to Bolt as evidence. And then Bolt will in return share that with NTSA and their friends or competitor Bolt or Uber, and then that information is circulated among themselves. Now, when it comes to to documentation of evidence, of course, people are saying we hope that moving forward, that strategy will not criminalize drivers. We hope that Bolt and Uber and NTSA, that coming together will form what we call a quasi-judicial kind of partnership. People hope that no driver will be criminalized without proper evidence, because as it has been recently, Bolt, they are known to block drivers, to kick drivers out of their platform for petty issues that have no evidence. As long as the customer writes to Bolt and say that the driver did this to me, for Bolt, that is enough to block a driver. Even if someone just got into your car and they did not like you for any other, for reason that only them can explain, they can write to Bolt or to Uber and tell them that the driver did 1, 2, 3 to me, and for that reason, I am complaining to you. And Bolt, without investigation, what they do is just lock out drivers. And that has really caused a lot of pain to so many drivers. And that's why you see a lot of bad energy, negative energy from drivers, because out of many of them are out of the platform for no good reason. Okay, so the request of drivers from this partnership between Uber and Bolt and NTSA is that all that initiative is welcome. It is very good, because if you are not on the wrong side of the law, then it does not cause you any harm. But the problem that drivers are having moving forward is whether they will be given a fair hearing. It is whether there will be a kind of a judicial process to make sure that no action like that to terminate their employment with Uber and Bolt will be taken without proper evidence and proper proof that they did actually practice that wrong behaviors. I can tell you that many times that I have found myself between a hard place and a corner with riders is because a lot of these riders actually, castigated, or they started the heated discussion, or they started the argument, or they started, rubbing the driver the wrong way. There are so many riders who get into cars with very, very bad attitude, with bad behaviors. Probably your car has come straight from car wash, and then they get in, the first foot they put in, it is full of mud. Maybe they get into the car with kids, and the first thing the kid will do is to jump onto the seats, and the seats are clean and the kid are muddy. So those kind of behaviors. And every time I tried to tell those riders, please, you should have wiped your shoes before getting into the car, or you should prevent your kids from jumping onto the seats and avoid dirtying them, they give a lot of negative feedback. And you know what you can expect. As a human being, of course, you will not take that lightly. Sometimes if drivers don't contain themselves, it can turn out to be something ugly. So we want a similar kind of approach in terms of treating riders. If a driver, let me first of all finish my argument for drivers. We are saying that if it will be noticed that a driver had, let's say, practiced sexual harassment on a client, let there be proper evidence, not just an audio, not just a video. Let there be the basis of whatever happened be discussed in public, in daylight, so that everyone can know, and let that evidence be documented somewhere, and let the punishment not be for life. Depending on the gravity of the issue, let there be penalties that vary in terms of time. Let's have drivers punished for 3 months, for 1 year, for 2 years, but not every crime will require a driver to be banned out of the platform forever. As it is right now for Bolt, if you do something, they just block you out of the platform forever, and you'll never get your access back. So let it be something that is fair moving forward. And for the riders, I just wanted to make this point. The same way that Bolt and Uber have come together to protect their clients, that is the riders and travelers, they should also implement a parallel strategy to protect their partners, and in this case, their drivers. Because, of course, we ignore drivers so much because They are not the one who bring the revenue to the business. Business is driven by customers who are the riders, but without drivers as intermediaries, then that business cannot happen. And in appreciation of the fact that drivers also undergo harassment, let there be also a platform to protect drivers' lives and integrity and well-being. If I report today that a certain rider has harassed a driver sexually or physically, or they have refused to pay me, because also that one is financial malpractice, the way they call it. If I overcharge my client as a driver, it should be treated with equal gravity as a rider who refuses to pay me as a driver. So if I tell Uber that I have been harassed sexually, I have been harassed physically, or someone has refused to pay me at the end of their trip, then there should be an equal platform to judge that client and also to penalize them the way drivers will be penalized. Otherwise, it doesn't matter the good will of Bolt and Uber to come together in this way to protect their riders. It will not be seen as goodwill if they don't do the same thing in parallel to protect drivers. Because I can tell you, drivers are provoked every other second by the people they carry. I have mentioned several instances, but I can tell you, out of 5 customers that a driver carries, 2 of them will do something to provoke a driver. Either they will be extremely late, either they will come and say something that is not sensitive while they get into the car. They will get into the car with a kind of unaccepted behavior. Some of them could be drunk. Some of them will come with kids, as I have said, and dirty the vehicle. They will eat and leave, the leftovers within the car. Some will go out of the car and refuse to pay. Some will tell you to take them through a stopover just for a minute or two, and then they end up overstaying for up to 30 minutes. Remember, they have not paid you. They just got into a supermarket to do a stopover, and then they overstay. And then by that time you wait, Bolt and Uber will not increase any money because of the waiting time. So many things that at the end of 5 trips end up provoking drivers. And we all understand that we are all human beings. If you are provoked and reprovoked, another time provoked, you end up, losing your temper. So what will Uber and Bolt do to protect drivers like they are doing right now to protect their riders? Let us not be too much capitalist and just focusing on the one who is generating money, who is the rider, because the rider is the one getting money out of their pocket and paying the driver, and then the money climbs the ladder all the way to the owners of these companies. But let us also consider driver as a serious partner and appreciate that they are also equally threatened by so many things on day-to-day basis. Otherwise, guys, as you get into 2026, just take note of those precautions. Don't try to do any of the 3 things I have highlighted, because it can put you into serious troubles. You can end up, untimely ending your career as a taxi driver even before you get another plan. So be very, very careful. But at the same time, let us give these guys what we call the benefit of doubt, hoping that they will also replicate the same effort to protect ourselves as drivers.